India has an asymmetric federal government, with elected officials at the federal, state and local levels. At the national level, the head of government, Prime Minister, is elected by members of the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Parliament of India. The elections are conducted by the Election Commission of India. All members of the Lok Sabha, except two who can be nominated by the President of India, are directly elected through general elections which take place every 5 years, in normal circumstances, by universal adult suffrage on a first-past-the-post system. Members of the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of the Indian Parliament, are elected by elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states and the Electoral College for the Union Territories of India. The 2014 general election involved an electorate of 863,500,000 people, including all peoples above 18 years. Declared expenditure has trebled since 1989 to almost $300 million, using more than 1 million electronic voting machines. The size of the huge electorate mandates that elections be conducted in a number of phases. It involves a number of step-by-step processes, from announcement of election dates to the announcement of results, paving the way for the formation of the new government. Indian electoral system. The Parliament of India comprises the head of state and the two houses which of the legislature. The President of India is elected for a 5-year term by an electoral college consisting of members of federal legislature and state legislatures. This is the election process of India. The House of the People represents citizens of India. The 545 members are elected under the plurality electoral system. The Council of States has 245 members, 233 members elected for a 6-year term, with 1/3 retiring every 2 years. The members are indirectly elected, this being achieved by the votes of legislators in the state and union territories. The elected members are chosen under the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. The 12 nominated members are usually an eclectic mix of eminent artists, scientists, jurists, sportspersons, businessmen and journalists and common people. History of Lok Sabha elections. Lok Sabha is composed of representatives of the people chosen by direct election on the basis of the adult suffrage. The maximum strength of the House envisaged by the Constitution is 552, which is made up by election of up to 500 members to represent the states, up to 20 members to represent the Union Territories, and not more than 2 members of the Anglo-Indian community to be nominated by the President, if, in his/her opinion, that community is not adequately represented in the lower house, Lok Sabha. In 1952 Lok Sabha elections there were 1874 candidates, which rose to 13,952 candidates in 1996. However, in 2009 Lok Sabha elections only 8,070 candidates contested. Historical share of seats and votes of major political parties are ranked by the number of seats won. Asterisk, 12 seats in Assam and 1 in Meghalaya did not vote. AIADMK, All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, AAP, Aam Aadmi Party, BJS, Bharatiya Jana Sangh, BLD, Bharatiya Lok Dal, CPI, Communist Party of India, CPM, Communist Party of India, Inc., Indian National Congress, Inc., Indian National Congress, JD, Janata Dal, JNP, Janata Party, JP, Janata Party, PSP, Praja Socialist Party, RLD, Rashtriya Lok Dal, SOC, Socialist Party, SP, Samajwadi Party, SW, Swatantra Party, TDP, Telugu Desam Party, TRS, Telangana Rashtra Samithi, YSRCP, YSR Congress Party, Indian political parties. Indian National Congress dominated the Indian political scene under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru from the independence in 1947 until his death in 1964. The party continued its dominance under the leadership of K. Kamiraj and Lal Bahadur Shastri. The Congress Party was split into two in the 1970s and Indira Gandhi led Congress to election victory, but the winning run was broken for the first time in 1977, with the defeat of the party led by Indira Gandhi, by an unlikely coalition of all the major other parties which protested against the imposition of a controversial emergency from 1975 to 1977. But Indira Gandhi regained power soon after and her son Rajiv Gandhi led the party after her death. A coalition led by VP Singh swept to power in 1989 in the wake of major allegations of corruption against then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. But the coalition lost steam in 1990, necessitating new elections, with the Congress Party again emerging victorious under the leadership of P.V. Narasimha Rao. In 1996, the election results led to a coalition system wherein no single party achieved a majority in the parliament to form a government, but rather has to depend on a process of coalition building with other parties to form a bloc and claim a majority to be invited to form the government. This has been a consequence of strong regional parties which ride on the back of regional aspirations. There were multiple governments within a span of few years led by Atal Bihari Vajpayee, R.K. Gujral and H.D. Deve Gowda. In 1999, National Democratic Alliance led by the Bharatiya Janata Party came to power and became the first coalition government to complete the full term. For the next decade, Congress-led coalition United Progressive Alliance formed the government under Manmohan Singh. In the recent elections held in 2014, the National Democratic Alliance led by the Bharatiya Janata Party came to power, with Bharatiya Janata Party achieving a simple majority on its own, by securing 282 seats. Narendra Modi, the BJP's prime ministerial candidate, is now serving his first term as the Prime Minister of India, while parties like the Telugu Desam Party, the All India Anna Dravida Munnetric Kazhagam and the Dravida Munnetric Kazhagam have traditionally been strong regional contenders. The 1990s saw the emergence of other regional players such as Indian National Lok Dal, Shiromani Akali Dal, Shiv Sena, Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party and Janata Dal. These parties are traditionally based on regional aspirations like Telangana, Rashtra Samiti and Shiv Sena are strongly influenced by caste considerations like Bahujan Samaj Party, which claims to represent the Dalits. Election Commission. The Election Commission of India is an autonomous, constitutionally established federal authority responsible for administering all the electoral processes in the Republic of India. Under the supervision of the Commission, free and fair elections have been held in India at regular intervals as per the principles enshrined in the Constitution. The Election Commission has the power of superintendence, direction and control of all elections to the Parliament of India and the state legislatures, and of elections to the office of the President of India and the Vice President of India. Elections are conducted according to the constitutional provisions, supplemented by laws made by Parliament. The major laws are Representation of the People Act, 1950, which mainly deals with the preparation and revision of electoral rolls. The Representation of the People Act, 1951, which deals, in detail, with all aspects of conduct of elections and post-election disputes. The Supreme Court of India has has held that where the enacted laws are silent or make insufficient provision to deal with a given situation in the conduct of elections, the Election Commission has the residuary powers under the Constitution to act in an appropriate manner. Originally, the Commission had only a single Chief Election Commissioner. Two additional commissioners were appointed to the Commission for the first time on 16 October 1989, but they had a very short tenure until 1 January 1990. The Election Commissioner Amendment Act, 1993 made the Election Commission a multi-member body. Later, on 1 October 1993, two additional election commissioners were appointed. The concept of a multi-member commission has been in operation since then, with decision-making power by majority vote. Electoral process. Electoral process in India starts with the declaration of dates by the Election Commission. Publishing of electoral rolls is a key process that happens before the elections and is vital for the conduct of elections in India. The Indian Constitution sets the eligibility of an individual for voting as any person who is a citizen of India and above 18 years of age. It is the responsibility of the eligible voters to enroll their names. The Model Code of Conduct comes in force from the day the dates are announced. The candidates are required to file the nomination papers, following which the candidate list is published after scrutiny. No party is allowed to use the government resources for campaigning. No party is allowed to bribe the candidates before elections. The government cannot start a project during the election period. The campaigning ends at 6 p.m. of the second last day before the polling day. The polling is held normally from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., whereas it might be changed under special circumstances. The collector of each district is in charge of polling. Government employees are employed as poll officers at the polling stations. Electronic voting machines are being increasingly used instead of ballot boxes to prevent election fraud via booth capturing, which is heavily prevalent in certain parts of India. An indelible ink is applied usually on the left index finger of the voter as an indicator that the voter has cast his vote. This practice has been followed since the 1962 general elections to prevent a bad vote. Repolling happens if the initial polling is unsuccessful due to reasons such as adverse weather, violence, etc. The polled votes are counted to announce the winner. India follows first-past-the-post methodology to declare the winner. Indelible ink. One of the earliest achievements of CSIR was to counter the challenge of fraudulent voting. That research work on formulating indelible ink was initiated in 1950s by Chemical Division, NPL, now called the Analytical Chemistry Section. As the ink is photosensitive, it needs to be protected from exposure to direct sun rays. Therefore, amber-colored plastic containers are used for storing the ink, which in earlier times was stored in brown-colored glass bottles. On application, the ink remains on the fingernail for at least 2 days, to even up to a month depending upon the person's body temperature and the environment. The ink contains silver nitrate, which on reaction with the nail and on exposure to light gets darker. The precise protocol for making this ink, including chemical composition and the quantity of each constituent, is not known to many people, though the basic chemical formula of this ink has not been altered since 1952. Government expenditure. The cost per voter in the 2014 general elections was 17 rupees, a 20-fold increase over the first election, held in 1952. The total expenditure from the 2014 general election was 3,600 crore rupees. The 1952 election cost 104.5 million rupees total. Electronic voting machines. Electronic voting machines are being used in Indian general and state elections to implement electronic voting in part. from 1999 elections and in total since 2004 elections. The EVMs reduce the time in both casting a vote and declaring the results compared to the old paper ballot system. After rulings of Delhi High Court and Supreme Court and demands from various political parties, Election Commission decided to introduce EVMs with voter-verified paper audit trail system. Voter verifiable paper audit trail system. On 14 August 2013, the Government of India amended the elections rules to permit the use of the voter-verified paper audit trail system. The first election to implement the new system was a by-election held in the 51 Naxon of Nagaland. Voter-verified paper audit trail system is introduced in 8 of 543 parliamentary constituencies as a pilot project in Indian general election. 2014. VVPAT is implemented in Lucknow, Gandhinagar, Bangalore South, Chennai Central, Jadavpur, Raipur, Patna Sahib and Mizoram constituencies. Generated slip tells voter to which party a candidate vote has been given and also includes name of voter, constituency and polling booth. Nota: none of the above is a proposed voting option in India that would allow voters who support none of the candidates available to them to register an official voter of none of the above, which is currently allowed under India election regulation. The Election Commission of India told the Supreme Court in 2009 that it wished to offer the voter a none of the above button on voting machines. The government, however, has generally opposed this option. On the 27th of September 2013, Supreme Court of India pronounced a judgment that citizens of India have right to negative vote by exercising none of the above option in EVMs, or ballot papers. The judgment was passed on appeal filed by the People's Union for Civil Liberties, an NGO, in 2009. The Election Commission has implemented this option of none of the above voting option in EVM machines WEF 5 states polls starting from November 2013. However, it does not mean that if Nota gets highest votes then election will be conducted again. Rather, even in that case, the candidate with the highest votes will be treated as elected candidate. Absentee voting. An absentee ballot is a vote cast by someone who is unable or unwilling to attend the official polling station to which the voter is normally allocated. Numerous methods have been devised to facilitate this. Increasing the ease of access to absentee ballots is seen by many as one way to improve voter turnout, though some countries require that a valid reason, such as infirmity or travel, be given before a voter can participate in an absentee ballot. Currently, India does not have an absentee ballot system for all citizens except in few exceptions. Section 19 of the Representation of the People Act (MINU 1950) allows a person to register to vote if he or she is above 18 years of age and is an ordinary resident of the residing constituency i.e., living at the current address for 6 months or longer. Section 20 of the above Act disqualifies a non-resident Indian from getting his/her name registered in the electoral rolls. Consequently, it also prevents a NRI from casting his/her vote in elections to the Parliament and to the state legislatures. In August 2010, Representation of the People Bill 2010, which allows voting rights to NRIs, was passed in both Lok Sabha with subsequent Gazette notifications on the 24th of November 2010. With this, NRIs will now be able to vote in Indian elections but have to be physically present at the time of voting. Several civic society organizations have urged the government to amend the RPA Act to allow NRIs and people on the move to cast the vote through absentee ballot system. People for Lok Sabha has been actively pushing combination of internet and postal ballot as a viable means for NRI voting.